Welcome to another season of In the Zone videos, the educational video series where we take a previous hunt and the video from that hunt and break it down to illustrate and really show the tactics and the situation that we were in to get us close enough to get a shot. Before we jump in though, I want to take a minute and thank the sponsor for this series, Exo Mountain Gear. I started wearing Exo packs several years ago when they first came out, and they're still the most comfortable and purpose-designed hunting pack I've ever used. They weigh about 4 pounds empty, and they compress down small enough that I can wear it as a fast and light day pack, but then also have the ability to carry far more weight than anyone needs to pack on their back and do it comfortably. By spanning every need that I have in a hunting pack, day hunting, bivvy hunting, and then packing heavy loads of elk meat back to the truck, all with one pack, they're truly the best pack that I've found for my style of hunting. In this episode of In the Zone, we're going to go back and take a look at Mark Skousen's Idaho archery elk hunt from 2021. If you watched Destination Elk V4, you'll likely remember Mark and his twin brother Jeff on the hunt spotted a nice 6-point bull at a wallow earlier in the morning. The wallow where they saw the bull sits in a small draw that's surrounded by thick brush, and it has wide open hillsides all around it. The only real cover on the entire hillside is right there at the wallow. To the west is a north-facing, really heavily timbered hillside that would be a great place for an elk to bed down during the heat of the day. And during the heat of the day, the thermals are going to be coming up the hillside. If Mark and Jeff can slip into the brush at the wallow, and if the bull decides to come back into the wallow at some point, their plan might just work. Earlier that morning, Mark and Jeff were chasing bugles in the next drainage over, and from a mile or two away, they watched the bull leave this wallow and walk across the open hillside, heading for that north-faced timbered hillside. When their morning action died down, they decided to hike over to the wallow, get the wind right, and then drop down to the wallow to set up, hoping the bull would make an afternoon visit, or that they might be able to encourage an afternoon visit with some midday calling.
So we came over here and checked this wallow because we had spotted a bull 5 miles away, right below here. Don't know if he got in it or not. It's pretty deep, so he maybe just got a drink, but he lives right in these pines right here. We saw him coming out of those. I'm sure he just went right back in. We'd heard a bull bugling up here yesterday, about 2 or 3. I'm sure it's the same guy. Just keeps working in and out of these trees. Feels good to sit in the shade for a minute. So just chill here for a minute.
As you can see, the area Mark and Jeff are hunting is wide open, which can make it really difficult to get in close to the elk. It can also present a lot of challenges when trying to call elk in. But since they watched this bull head into the dark timber on the backside of that adjacent ridge, they're betting he bedded down just inside the timber. And since the bull has already visited the wallow once, they're hoping he'll be comfortable enough to come right back into that same setup again.
Jeff let a bugle out right where we thought he was, and he sounded right back to us. So he's probably just laying over there. It might be enough to coax him out, so we can see this hillside good. If he pops out, we can get in position by this wallow. Got a good wind coming up right now. Coming out.
They'd initially set up on the back side of the brush that surrounds the wallow, but with the bull heading their direction, they knew they needed to get up and move. With Mark being the shooter, it was important for him to get as close to the front edge of the brush as possible. The bull would likely come up the draw from below him and likely not cross through that thick brush. If they were to stay on the back side of the brush at the wallow, they'd likely not see the elk. So Mark moved through the brush to the front edge to set up, and Jeff moved up above Mark, staying well concealed in the brush to call to the elk. When the bull first stepped out on the ridge at the edge of the timber there, he had two options. He could circle up above the wallow and gain a visual advantage as well as get the wind in his favor, or he could take a direct path and just head straight to the wallow from slightly down the hill. Since the bull had already been to the wallow just a couple hours before, he was comfortable coming straight into the wallow, following that same path that Mark and Jeff had watched him leave on earlier in the morning. Well, this was ideal from a concealment standpoint. It also meant the only way they'd be able to get an idea of where the bull was coming in from was by listening to its bugles.
tree hard hunting. We're never gonna get.
Mark. Dude, that was insane.
I couldn't even blow my cowl anymore. It was all raspy and dry. I needed some water. I saw his antlers coming around that tree, and I'm like, I ranged that bush at 25, so he was less than 20 yards. And I wanted to wait till he got frontal. Yeah. Just zipped right through him. Yeah, that was perfect, dude.
I didn't know you were going to shoot that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, frontal shots are deadly, dude. Frontal shots are deadly. And we went like 80 yards. What an awesome day.
Oh my gosh.
1 o'clock, 1:45. When I saw his antlers pop out on that hill, I was like, dude, game on.
He's a giant.
What an exciting hunt. I love that midday action, especially if we already know where a bull's bedding down. One of the best calling tactics that you can use when you're hunting in that really open country, like where Mark and Jeff were hunting, is to get up on a good vantage point and glass the elk up in the wide open in the morning, and then watch to see where they go to bed down. Most times they're going to go to bed in the thick brush in the bottoms of the draws, which really isn't ideal for their sense of smell, or it'll be just off the backside of a ridge in that thick timber on a north-facing hillside.